Kitcho, a.k.a. Mr. Boom Shakalaka. And now, Rick Sands and Search and Destroy from Super Design Land. Boom Shakalaka.
Okay, so we're back.
Yeah, now we're back officially. Since our last episode with Playful Gorilla, which hopefully you've watched. If not, it's 4 episodes of fun. Really good content there. Today we have an awesome guest, which super pumped. So yeah, welcome back to Super Design Land. That's Rick. I'm Serge. That goes by Rick Sands or Surge and Destroy. Yeah, we have a couple events coming up. We got D-Con, and then in December we got the Creatives Con out in New York. So hitting both coasts. And then yeah, if you're gonna be D-Con, 1121's our booth. Bunch of bangers. Debut pieces,
bumping music,
party
vibes.
Come get some candy. We're gonna have a bunch of fun stuff, stickers that you can just grab. We are gonna be posting a video of how to get to us, because sometimes you can kind of get lost in the fray there. So we'll be posting those daily, so it's easy to find. We've been at D-Con for years and years and years now.
Since 2009 or 2010.
So if it's your first time, definitely, we can tell you how the thing's gone and how it's changed and grown, and
the good and the bad, the dumb and the great.
So yeah, we have that coming, and then again, same thing we have in December the 10th, Creatives Con out in Manhattan, NYCC. So we're gonna see you there. So it's gonna be a lot of people that have been in the first series, a lot of people that have been in the second series upcoming.
Bunch of people who
are not in the series.
Might be in the third series.
Might be in the third. But just creatives in general. There's going to be tables representing each brand and such. So kind of, just fun con right before the holidays. So if you're looking for any kind of last minute Christmas gifts or things like outside of the box that you never thought of, head there. And they're on the Creatives TCP is their Instagram. So they've been posting all the info if you're going to be in the area or kind of surrounding areas.
And .com.
Yeah, and .com.
They're, I believe the card packs go on sale real soon too. So
yeah, I think
scoop them up before they sell out.
I think the pre-orders are done, so now they may actually start fulfilling things. So yeah, it's going to be soon. You may even see some at D-Con. I'm not sure on the actual timing, but Red Guardian will be there at the Martian Toys booth. So definitely go over and say what's up to him. Today we're actually here because we have a new guest and super stoked. So if any of you are familiar with Tenacious Toys, we have the man himself, Benny, that's going to be joining us.
So everyone give a standing applause. And here we go.
Yeah, this is Benny Klein, everyone. Super stoked. Enjoy him.
I don't care if you're even in your bedroom. Stand up and clap for this dude. He's done so much for the toy scene over the years, and he's not some fly-by-night guy who just appeared because he was bored during pandemic. He's like a true OG, and he's been nothing but supportive and helped cultivate the scene that we have now.
Facts.
Here we go.
You guys got nice microphones.
My work has a health program that clearly isn't working for me, and you accumulate points that you can use for gift cards. And so the $400-something of gift cards I combined with tax return and bought decent sound recording stuff and cameras.
Nice.
Yes. Cause
nice.
But I mean, I guess $400 probably just covers the mics and because it was like a kit. Like out here in Ohio, Audio Technica has a factory or something, and that's what I use for producing music is their headphones. And I was like, oh, I can get just like a kit for $180 or whatever. That's mic, stand, cord, headphones, done. you know, I don't care the price. I know I trust the quality. So
Yeah.
and we just need for this like studio.
Yeah.
They're just monitors. They don't color the sound or anything. It's not like Beats or anything. So
Nice.
I had
Super
realized
sweet.
every time Serge comes over, we end up just talking for a half hour or hour when it gets here about like what event we just did and what events are coming up. And at some point I was like, you know, this would probably make a decent podcast. And then I was like, but everything's so visual. And then I started thinking about YouTube shows. And then I sat on it for more than a year because I wanted to do something in VR. So it records in VR like you're sitting on the couch, and then it records in 5K for the normal person watching it on their phone. And then YouTube downgrades the quality and chooses what quality you get based on your internet speed.
Yeah.
Thanks, YouTube. There's probably a point
so
to
people
that.
can not use up all their data on one 4K show or whatever.
Yeah.
I guess it supports up to 8K now, but
That's just crazy.
like every 8 minutes of video is 4 gigs. I think from just the one camera,
Oh
the
my
VR
God.
camera, I feel like is maybe like 7 gigs for every 8 minutes. I don't know. It's something crazy.
Wow. Hey, I'm on your YouTube. You guys should take that cool neon sign and like just put it in front of some of the toys, like just the toys that are up on your shelf, like up on top of your detolfs, and just take a photo of that because it's the exact same like dimensional, like it's this exact same orientation and layout as the banner across the top of the YouTube, which you currently have just like a generic, like a blue. I haven't replaced that image yet, and that it would totally make sense if you're going to have that in the shot to have it up there at the top of the YouTube.
Yeah, it's definitely all of this is a work in progress, but that's definitely appreciated because that's a good idea. I mean, we just got this light in the last couple weeks.
Yeah, man. Well, now you assets.
Oh, yeah.
Now, so
Appreciate
now
it.
use it.
Yeah, I had it up on top of the cabinets, but I didn't have it really mounted in a way that made me confident. And so like when I woke up in the middle of the night, I came down and looked to make sure it was still up there. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to spend a couple $100 in a couple weeks getting it shipped from China again. So I was like, you know, I'm just going to put it on this thing for today, and I'll find a better, more stable thing for what I'm going to do with it. I bought one with my name for Decon, and I'm like, I don't even know what I'm going to lean it against or whatever. It might just stay here. I don't know.
I mean, you can just get like little acrylic like picture stands that are at an angle, like little acrylic frames, just like up on that, you know, because those are stupid cheap. I just bought one. I'm almost done designing it.
Oh, nice.
It's gonna be my dog, the dog, and with the outline in like blue neon, like the image is there in the background, but then it's the blue neon is around like the border, you know. I thought that would be cool because it's like I don't need to spell out the whole name. I just feel like if people look up and they see a blue dog,
what you
they're
had
like, I'm
for
in the right
Tenacious
spot,
Island
you know?
was genius. Like I love the like kind of street sign, you know, that you had kind of hanging on the outside. But you're right, like just seeing that like blue dog would be awesome. Like walking over, it would be like, oh, there it is. You know, like that would stand out even in a convention hall itself.
Yeah, I was worried about that whole thing because like the space is so big that like you sort of lose the tenaciousness in there because there's so many members. Like it's just like you stand in the aisle and you look at it and you're just like it just visually it's just like you don't know what you're looking at really.
Right.
And
sure.
I was like I knew that Bun is like a professional like convention like
yeah, his print walls and everything. Yeah.
And I knew he had this really tall thing and he was right there on the aisle, and I was like, how can I get like some Tenacious branding out there? Because I knew Bun would like mount it up onto one of his poles if I asked him to, and I was like, what can I get that'd be really eye catching. And I found a place that actually manufactures road signs.
That's
like
awesome.
It's metal, and it has that the reflective coating on it that like reflects your car's like
Nice.
So I got it custom made. I was like, this is awesome. It wasn't even that expensive. It was so cool. Now they email me every day. Every day.
Of course.
Like how many more signs you need?
Yeah.
Like I got a banner for the for Decon for this, and now I'm getting emails every day where I'm like, nope, I just needed the one banner. I'll find you when I need the next one.
Yeah.
Banner Buzz, I think was that one.
Unsubscribe.
Yeah. I need to do that when I go back to work later.
Unsubscribe from everything.
Well, just that one for now. Yeah. I signed up for a bunch of travel emails before pandemic, and then, haven't really gone anywhere for besides Decon and 5 Points. I haven't gone anywhere since 2018.
I have a love relationship with like email marketing, because like I have to do it, and so I recognize how to do it. But I'm also like, if I send too much shit, it's gonna annoy my customers just like it annoys me. And I'm like, how do I find that balance, between all those things?
Yeah, it's like making how much can you fit in a newsletter before it gets too long? Didn't read,
The whole thing, like I one of the things I've learned is like making a long newsletter is pointless, because almost nobody scrolls down to the bottom. It's like like a Kickstarter intro video. My man, if it's longer than 30 seconds, no one's going to watch it to the end. And I know that because they'll give you like the average length of plays. Here's you had 6,000 plays, and like the average length was like 11 seconds. So you're like, oh man, like I spent all that time on this video and no one's watching it.
That's the Instagram story method. Like that's what they were like, if you fit it in 10 seconds, you're usually golden because people can watch it and tap fast enough and you're good. But like usually anything above that now, like anyone's just gonna like completely tone it out.
Any content in 2022 has to be a McNugget. It's just a nugget. Like it's definitely not the triple quarter pounder. Like it's just a nugget. That's all you get. No one's gonna eat anything bigger than a nugget.
And now everything's video, so like now you have to play everything as 10 seconds. So it's like, how do I now move a picture down to 10-second video for people to care? So that's a whole nother thing to figure out. So we've been trying to do that, but it's some, unless it's just toys spinning, on a on the road, like rotate it, put it to music, and there you go.
Like this.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the deal.
I love that blue.
Oh yeah, that's the blue glow, right?
Yeah, it's the dark. Yeah. Oh yeah. You got alien. I got my little danger dog, my little favorite.
Dude, the marble danger dogs are awesome.
Oh man,
I always meant to get one of those.
So there's mainly first thing I wanted to ask you, like, where did you get Danger as your like mascot? Like, what was the idea behind him and the name?
Oh well, there was a real dog named Danger, first of all. But
okay.
Second of all, because there was a real dog named Danger, I thought that was really funny, and it's a play on like the dangerousness of pit bulls, because everyone's like, oh my god, they're so dangerous, and I'm like, they're my little cuddle bunnies that like hide under my blankets, and like I remember one of our pit bulls, she loved being really warm. She'd be under the covers, like she'd get in bed, like kick them up and go under the covers, and she'd just have her little snout sticking out, just the nose. And like I always think about that when I think about like, people like, oh, dangerous pit bull mauled a child and blah blah blah, and it's like, oh, these dogs should be banned. It's like, well, we should ban chihuahuas because they're fucking annoying, and they always
bite people too.
Yeah,
they're always trying to bite my pit bulls.
Right.
Like, what am I doing wrong? What are these dogs aren't doing anything wrong. They're just sitting here, and like my experience walking pit bulls around New York City is every other dog is dangerous. Like they all tried to attack my dogs, and I'm like, don't understand. And so I'd have to like, we call it like ping pong. We have to like just avoid everyone, just walk around and avoid, not because our dogs are a problem, but because all the other dogs are a problem. So
we see that at like outdoor events when we do our like, our tent setups, and there's always people with dogs, and like they can't handle their own dogs. It's like you got to be conscious about taking it at least out in public where other people are going to be walking their dogs.
Like, one of the things I see here in New York City a lot is like, I suppose the people handling the dogs could handle the dogs or reprimand the dog or control the dogs if they wanted to. But I would say 95% of the people I meet out on the street that have dogs do absolutely no reprimanding of their dogs when the dogs are misbehaving. Like, their dog tapping and barking, and they're just sitting there. Like, at the end of, I'm like, are you gonna say something? Or
right.
You know, because you should probably be like, no, stop, dog, and you know, do a little pull on the collar so you're talking to it. You know, and sit down, stop barking. That's not acceptable. No one does that. No one.
The Caesar Milan poke. I always loved that.
Yeah, when my dog's being a pain in the butt, I'll poke her. I'm like, yo, no. It doesn't hurt her. It just gets her attention.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You know, danger is really just a play on the dangerousness of pit bulls, really.
Oh, that's awesome. Because, like, it's super, you know, it's super cute, you know, and that's, you know, that's also, like, the draw to it is just, you know, looks like a little, like, you know, dog sitting, little chibi form, kind of cutesy.
Yeah, just tiny little body.
Yeah, it's cool because it's just like, you know, it still looks tough, like, you know, in the stance, but it's, you know, it's just a little cute dog. Like, I think, like, the spike chain, you know, also helps, like, with the look of it.
Yeah, that was hard to do in a little Sofubi. The spikes the spikes would make it hard to pull the piece out of the mold, and so we just sort of, like, indicated where they would be instead of putting them on there. I thought we have the 5-inch version of this. I thought about getting like little like spiked collars, like a little spiked which would be the same side, and like selling it like that.
Yeah, because when you had the 5.5, was it like the original? I think with the two parts, the two piece ones.
Inches, yeah.
Those ones are really cool. When I worked on those are really fun. But the 3-inch size is like perfect. You know, whether you want to collect or customize or.
I wanted to have a really cheap minifigure size that sort of like I could offer in the standard pricing for like a very small minifigure. So that was the Sofubi, you know, the Mile High option is a super rad option for any of us, you know, because it's really right in between. Like, you're like, oh man, I really don't want to mold and cast and like make 100 little resin figures, you know, because like, you know, a lot of the people in our space can do that. Like our people, like literally have the equipment, can do it, but it's a lot of fucking work, man.
Yeah,
it is.
Buy all the supplies. You have to learn how to cast resin without bubbles and how to finish things. Finishing 100 resin figures this big is a pain in the ass.
Oh yeah.
And you know, you guys are always, you know, like if you're doing that, you're all in danger of inhaling the sanded off particles. It's literally bad for you doing that. And I guess none of us really talks about that too much, but like you can't sit there sanding resin all day. And first of all, you need a respirator on. It's also gonna work its way into your fingers unless you're wearing gloves. But like, who wants to wear gloves all day? And you know, it's just like, to me, it's like at a certain point, like that's cool up to a certain point. Like if you're making little runs of 10, they're gonna sell. Like it makes sense, you know, especially if you can price it higher. But once you get up to like the 100 unit mark, dude, it's so much cheaper and easier just to be like, Mile High, make a mold, and they make a mold, and then you know Paul's over there, and Paul has a gang mold for these.
That's awesome.
He makes 6 at a time, so that's why whenever like if I get a batch of marbled danger dogs from Paul, there will always be 6 like purple and blue, like they'll all be similar. All the molds will be different, but like he'll just pour those like couple of you know vinyl colors into the mold, and so there'll be 6 different ones in that color combo, and then he'll just move on to a different color combo. I love these. I think Paul's like humoring me because like I was with him so early that like he does that stuff for me, but like I think it's like kind of a pain in the ass. You know, I don't know.
Probably.
but at the same time, like every time I go on a show or make a post or whatever on the internet, I'm tagging Mile High Sofubi, Mile High Sofubi. Like I've been talking about his brand more than almost any other brand aside from Tenacious Toys, because it just comes up so.
Nice.
There's just so many other, this is Mile High,
Yeah, I saw they have a lot of people's drops or debuts for Decon this year. Like last month, he posted this like image of like all the different boxes going out, and I could spot a bunch of people that I knew, and I was like, oh wow, like they have a lot of people like in the community that they're pumping out stuff, and it's awesome because you can see the quality by having somebody else's piece in your hand. Like, oh cool, well and I talked to him a couple of times. And I know he's like down the road from Mr. Mento. So like through that, we were chatting, and I was like, oh, maybe next year Rick and I were talking like maybe we just kind of collab on a figure and then just get our own made just kind of as a Super Design Land kind of one. And then, go from there if, into personal ones. But, it seems like that's the person to go to.
One of the things you guys should think about is maybe like designing a common. So like, my Danger Dogs are 2 parts.
Yeah.
There's 2 pieces. And so that's the more pieces, the higher the mold costs. But at the same time, if you guys have a base, which is like neck down, like, or, just like the body and arms and legs or whatever. Yeah. And then each of you designs a head and you use the common body because, you just like Super Design Land, like body I first came across that when I was working with Rampage Toys a lot, and he would have these Sofubi bodies, which are Hag X.
Okay.
Sounds familiar.
And a lot of them would be identical bodies, arms, legs, but different heads made by different artists. And so a lot of his pieces that he would put out, like even through my shop, would have a Rampage head, I think, and a Hag-X body, because I think they just made a bunch of those bodies.
Oh, nice.
And it allowed him to have a full figure, but only paid the mold cost for his head. And I was like, wow, that's like really brilliant, because you look at the thing and it totally works. It makes sense as a figure, right, with head on it. I could be wrong, though, and if he's watching this, I apologize, John. I thought that was how the hag bodies work. Or maybe John designed the hag bodies. I don't know. He designs a lot of cool monsters. But it was a common body, and you guys could totally do that, like have a common body and just have have your own individual heads, where you're like, you have your own heads made, or you collab and you paint each other's heads or whatever.
I like that. Like I with my characters, I made modular, like the ones I've been releasing just for that purpose. So I'm like, well, it's just together next to each other, they look like uniform, but the head is like where all the personality is for the character.
Well, I mean, if want to do animals, you are more than welcome to use my Danger Dog body, so you don't even have to mold that, because if your head is at Mile High and my dog's body is at Mile High,
we'll do a collab.
That'd be awesome. I love doing animals. I just haven't released any animals yet, but like
most of my stuff are decon. Speaking of hundreds of resin figures
pieces.
I made like 300 resin pieces in the last 3 weeks, and I'm probably gonna die from sanding it. I got this industrial sander thing from one of my girlfriend's friends, and while wearing a mask, I put a fan behind it, put it at the edge of my garage door, closed the garage door just so it's low enough that the fan is blowing straight on through, and I don't think it's enough. But I've mainly been scared about getting my fingers chopped off into the actual device, so I've been wearing industrial like gardening gloves that are super grippy and waterproof, because it also drips water onto the sander to wet sand it, but it there's no guarantee. When I turn it on, you see this gust of resin dust fly out the garage, and so
well, I mean, honestly, for if you're making that much for decon, like, it's not a bad idea to just look into the Mile High option, just to save you from, you can still get all creative and it'll still be your designs, but like, it'll save you on all that manual work,
hassle. Yeah. Well, and the idea too of doing different heads on the same body is just good, both like logistically as far as like financially and the time involved in that stuff.
Yeah.
That's a really good idea.
Because I just put together, did a collab on 6 of the Joopy Crusho pieces, and those are the same thing where I got the head and body separate, and just with a little blow dryer, I mean, just snap on. Like, it was so easy. I was like, oh man, man, the assembly is great on these, and you can just customize each piece by itself and put it together. So
all of us in the scene sort of like really enjoy like the idea of mashups, you know, whatever it is, whether culture thing or just like 2 different artists like collabing on something. Like, the customers seem to really enjoy that. I think it gets a kick out of like looking at a piece and being like, oh yeah, like that's Serge's, that's definitely Serge's paint, you know, like on the head or whatever. I mean, it's fun. I think you can sell it, you know. I think it's sellable, and it's, if it saves some trouble, you know, I'm all about it. Mile High even did that with one of my the big Danger Dog heads. Like, another one of his customers has this robot, like a robot body. And
nice.
On top of that, so he said, like, one day, like, this figure just showed up, and it was like my head with like a robot body, and I was like, this is awesome. It's just
that's amazing.
Need to do the shark head on the Danger Dog.
Oh yeah, the shark head would probably fit nicely on it.
Yeah, you should just, I mean, you could just design it to, you know, fit together, like with that whole, you know, just with that in mind. Yeah.
Basically, this guy.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be perfect, because the dog's neck is just round.
Round, yeah.
Right.
So anything can come out of there. You could always, like, you know, I'm sure Paul's going to be busy for Decon for now, but like after that all wraps up, be like, yo, you know, I mean, we could all contact them together and be like, hey, like, these guys have permission to, you know, use the Danger Dog body mold, and they're going to make their own head for it. You know, I think that's great, because that's cool to me. That keeps me in your conversation too.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
No, that's awesome. That's exciting for us.
Win-win for everyone.
We were watching, unfortunately, you know, with the FOMO of NYCC, we were watching. I kept watching. I was like, you know what? I'm going to keep watching, because this is entertaining. And every time like you went live or Playful went live, I was hopping in there like, I'm missing out this year. And we were like, next year we got to go, like, as vendors, and, you know, just to see it, because we've never been there personally for that event. And then we were just like, man, this is great. And there's so much fun stuff coming out now that, you know, the pandemic is over, you know, and it's like this art explosion again, you know, like publicly. We were like, yeah, this is like going to be a yearly thing for us. And then we were just like kind of getting, you know, pumped. We were at home, like just making designs, figuring out things like, oh, next year we're gonna go ham on a lot of creation. So
if you guys, you know, I have a rotating group of people in my booth. I mean, you could always be in my booth if you wanted space in my booth. I mean, I
sure.
We have our guys in the collective, like in that booth that you're watching the lives from. You know, there's it's actually easier for you, because I do all the setup, and I arrange all the electricity, and I pay the bills, and I bring the tables in, and, you know, chairs. I bring a bunch of chairs in and all that jazz. So it's like I take care of some of the like irritating parts for people that are traveling in, you know.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Like we found that it was easy to drive, but then like we have people to stay with now out there, so like it made things really simple, you know, for the last couple events. Like we'll be out there in December for the Creatives Con, and once we figured that out, we're like, oh well, as long as we have people to stay, it makes it more functional, because now we're not spending at least the hotel stay, and then you know, like, you know, just for the actual con and production and stuff, that's just like normal stuff. And then we were just like, it's definitely something that's been on our list to go to. We just haven't yet, you know.
Right.
Because it's always, you know, close to decon, so we just would prioritize decon over that. And then
well, I mean, it's either coast. So really, like if you're very organized in the quarter leading up to those shows, you know, do the East Coast show and the West Coast show, and it's a lot of our high rollers go to both shows. But I would say that like the vinyl art toy and resin collectible crew is more at Designer Con, and then New York Comic Con is much more like pop culture and stuff like that.
Okay.
But we definitely have our little area of the convention where there's like a lot of vinyl art toys, art toys, vinyl resin art toys, in our area.